Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Yeah, I'm sure if there's like some analytical linguist out there listening to this podcast, he's like, wow, there's a lot to dissect here.
He actually sounds like he's from Wyoming.
I would have guessed Oregon, but yeah, that makes sense.
Is Wyoming a real place?
It is.
Huh, okay.
Knights live there.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm glad I know that.
They also live in Vegas, and they have a hockey team.
The Knights?
The Vegas Knights, yeah, that's a real hockey team.
So Knights are hockey players?
Now.
Interesting.
The team's only like 2 or 3 or 4 years old.
So Knights used to exist in the way that we know now, but in the modern day, Knights are hockey players.
Yes, exactly. That's the evolution of it, yeah.
It's so weird. It's so interesting. They should make a movie about it.
Yeah. Like,
Do you think it would survive in this tournament?
No.
No.
But anyway, we could just transition from that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bitter Chatter. I'm Bitter, he's Chatter. I mix it up every time. You never know what we're going to do. So we are continuing the movie tournament today, and we're moving on to round 2, right? We finished round 1, right?
We completed it, mate. We completed the first round.
Yeah. So
a lot of controversy from people because we've not included movies that like everyone else has seen, but that's what happens when the requirement is that we both have to have seen it.
Yeah, one of us has probably seen the movie you're upset we didn't include, but the other one didn't.
So I'm sorry that Harry Potter is not in this, and I'm also sorry that The Fifth Element is not in this.
Those are both me. I didn't see those. Hello.
I haven't seen Fifth Element either. Everyone's mad at me, like, in my friend circle about that. I'm like, I'm sorry, I know about Multipass. I know who Lilu is. Like,
Lilu's the girl with the orange hair and the white outfit, right?
Yeah. And Bruce Willis.
Yes.
Who murdered you last time.
Yeah, he was very mad about the Shrek thing.
he had a problem. Like, after we did that off camera, we had to, like, ask ourselves, what does Bruce Willis actually sound like? And we had to look up his Wired autocomplete interview, and it was like, he doesn't have like an imitable voice.
He's a very normal sounding person.
You just have to be like intense, I think.
Yeah.
And there's one way to describe Bruce Willis, it's intense.
There's like an effect on his voice, but there's no accent or anything.
There's a filter.
He's got like it's not even that. It's not like a gruffness.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Hey, I was in Friends.
Ross Geller, I hate that you're dating my teenage daughter.
But I will date your ex, because she's hot.
At least she's an adult.
Yeah, that's something, you freak.
I hated that entire arc. Anyway, this isn't the TV
arc. I love calling it an arc.
the underage girl story arc, yeah.
The dating your student arc.
Remember when they went on spring break together because he was a paranoid jackass?
I can't wait for the anime onlys to see the part when they finally adapt the Joey and Rachel arc.
Yikes, that's going to be a hot mess for all the anime only viewers. They don't know what's going to hit them.
Dude, Friends is great.
I love the shark porn filler.
That was a fun filler, honestly. Not maybe as good as like the their British friend Amanda filler, but it was alright.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, the whole joke was that she wasn't British, but she was pretending to be British because she lived there now. But yeah.
This is not the TV tournament.
No, it's not.
This is the movie tournament. Let's do it. Let's go.
And it's probably going to go a little bit quicker now because we don't have to go through all the IMDb stuff.
If you missed the last episode, go back. It's not too late.
It's never too late.
It's not too late to go back and listen.
I was kind of going through
the app last week. Go forward to Spotify. It's not too late to listen.
Wow, you really took off with that. That was impressive.
It's Devo.
I know who it is.
Good.
It's not like I was bewildered by like, ooh, what is this?
The Rings. The Jurassic Park. Yeah, we're starting off with a really difficult one in the first round. Like, this is the, it's not the semis. It's not even the quarters.
It's the second. It's the second round.
It's the 16ths.
It's
16 movies. We'll probably have a winner by the end of this, but not at the rate that we're going. We have to start. Jurassic Park versus Lord of the Rings.
Listen,
Good lord.
When we were talking about Lord of the Rings last episode, I put up the big signal that it's going to take something crazy to beat Lord of the Rings, because I can't think of really any faults with, at least, like, we're just talking about the first movie, especially with the first movie. The one fault, I guess, is that it's not self-contained, but that's not really a fault considering it was always meant to be a trilogy.
But even with that, you could always just watch it and be like, you know what? That was a good time. I mean, you don't really have an urgent need to continue with it if you don't want to. Because let's face it, it's not for everybody.
I suppose. I didn't tell this story yet, but one of the first times I ever attempted watching Lord of the Rings was at a friend's house, and we had a bunch of people over, and it was one of those, like, let's do a marathon. Now, it was very bright-eyed enough.
A marathon of the entire trilogy?
It was very bright-eyed and
I was going to say, what were you thinking?
To think that starting a Lord of the Rings marathon at, I don't know, 7 o'clock at night was a good idea.
Oh, no.
But here's the thing. We got about 15 minutes into it, and then we realized nobody was watching it, because we were all, like, walking around the living room, talking to each other, goofing off. Like, nobody was paying attention to the movie.
I've had this exact experience with the Harry Potter movies.
And so we were just like, all right, forget this, and we shut it off. And it wasn't until years later, when I was sat down to watch the movies, not in one sitting, but that was the first time I actually watched them. And I gotta tell you, I was immediately hooked. Like, I was like, I get it now.
I understand the prophecies of Frodo.
Yes,
and Gandalf.
I super get why the fan base of this series is the way it is.
Yeah, a lot of these movie series, their fandom is quite wide and varied and very intense.
Now, Jurassic Park has a fandom that probably is pretty intense, but it's way smaller. Like, that's
again, we have to look at it like the times of these movies were made and how much they made, because Jurassic Park was at one point the highest grossing movie ever.
Yeah, that's true.
That's nothing to scoff at. Like, Lord of the Rings is one of the most profitable movies, but I don't think it was ever, like, in the top 10.
I don't think it was in that conversation, no.
I think Return of the King might be higher, but besides that, the point is that Jurassic Park, I feel like, is a lot more user-friendly. I don't know what the term is. Like, it's more open for a lot more people, because
it's more easily digestible.
Yeah, especially because Lord of the Rings in itself, the concept is high fantasy. That's what the genre is called, right?
And we personally even know people that just aren't into that.
Yeah, like it's not for everybody. Whereas a movie like Jurassic Park is it's really easy to get behind because it's normal people, but with dinosaurs.
Yeah,
like the biggest like fictional extent to that is the science, but you can believe it because in some contexts, science is magic.
Yeah, and the way the movie explains it, as much as it's not really how any of that works, is believable.
Remind me of it. Did they take they found like a load of old mosquitoes in like amber, and then they took the DNA out of them to make dinosaurs?
Yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily the mosquito thing for every DNA sample they acquired, but it was things like that.
Or was it that Richard Attenborough was just just sitting on a load of money? He made the dinosaurs.
I mean, it was both. He had a shit ton of money and could do it, and they found the preserved samples.
It's worth noting that we didn't discuss that this was actually an adaptation of a book.
That is true. They're both adaptations of books, which makes this a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, especially Jurassic Park, because the characterization is very different.
Yeah, that book is super. Yeah, this is a very interesting matchup because Lord of the Rings is basically a 1-for-1 adaptation, which I'm sure there's some differences for the book readers, which I haven't read the books, but from what I understand, super accurate adaptation.
Accurate enough to please the general fan base.
Right, and then Jurassic Park is pretty different.
It takes a lot more creative liberties, like the Richard Attenborough character. I forget his name. The main professor guy.
Doctor Jurassic.
Mr. Park. He's in the books he's like a real like a villain almost, like he's not a nice person at all, whereas in the films he's just a nice friendly old man who who admits to making a mistake when it all goes haywire.
Yeah, and they use that bad guy version for later movies more.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I know we said that these are specific entries in the franchise and not the entire franchise. Is the entire franchise a determining factor in our choice here?
I mean, we should try to keep it at no.
Okay,
and
that's
look at
fair.
these as one
All right,
movie.
so objectively, the one movies. I think I'm gonna have to go with Jurassic Park.
I don't actually know how I'm leaning yet.
Purely because I think the appeal is a lot broader. It was the highest grossing movie ever at one point. That shows that it has, like, on proof of paper, like, enjoyable results from a wide variety of people. I just think Lord of the Rings is, like, as major as it is and as much of a blockbuster it is, it's entirely within the nerd community, you know? And that's not a bad thing. I just think that in terms of, like, movies, Jurassic Park does a lot more than Lord of the Rings.
Here's how I'm looking at it right now. Jurassic Park is a great popcorn flick, easily digestible. You can just put it on and have a good time. Whereas I view Lord of the Rings as like an experience. Like, dude, I'm not just saying this now. I have been jonesing to have like a day where I just watch the trilogy for like weeks. I've been itching to just sit down and watch it. I just haven't had a day to do it. Like,
well, yeah, because you don't have 12 hours in a day.
I need like a day off where I can just sit and do
You need
nothing.
2 days off, at least.
Maybe. But I really am like being pulled towards rewatching Lord of the Rings right now, and I don't feel like I've ever had that experience with Jurassic Park. It's a movie you put on because, hey, we could just watch Jurassic Park. Like, that's how I view the difference.
I understand that, but I think in terms of rewatchability, I think Jurassic Park is more of a one-and-done thing. You can rewatch that a lot more times. When, like you say, if you wanted to rewatch Jurassic Park, you could just do it. Because it's like a 2.5-hour movie, if that. It's not that long. Whereas you have to dedicate time and effort into doing a Lord of the Rings rewatch. You know?
I really like Lord of the Rings, like a lot.
So do I. I'm not short selling it at all. I really, really enjoyed The Fellowship of the Ring.
But
like,
here's
it's
where
one of the better paced, like, long movies I've seen.
Here's I think the thing that's gonna do it for me. With Jurassic Park, you can just have a good time watching it. With Lord of the Rings, you have to pay attention because there's a lot of names. There's a lot of names, a lot of locations, a lot of different things happening.
A lot of lore that goes into it.
And it's a wonderful experience. It's fucking great. But you have to pay attention.
It's like comparing a light novel to War and Peace.
Yeah.
In a way. Well, okay. Yeah. It's like comparing Jurassic Park to Lord of the Rings.
Well, okay.
If we're talking about books here, like, you know.
True. Okay, actually.
I see your point. Jurassic Park?
I don't remember. I want to say yes, but I don't remember.
Jurassic Park. No, not the franchise. I need the specific movie, please, Wikipedia. It is the first in the franchise, based on the 1919 novel of the same name by Michael Crichton.
There you go.
Yeah, but you know what? It sounds like Jurassic is advancing here.
I think so, actually. And
if Lord of the Rings is going to be kicked out by anything, I'd want it to be by like another franchise, and I think that has to be Jurassic Park.
I mean, even just the fact that like Jurassic Park's an all-time classic. Like, there's no shame in getting beat by that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I think that's where we're at.
All right. Lord of the Rings, you're really good, and I promise I will watch Return of the King soon. But
You
it's
beat
like
one
I
of my
say,
favorite childhood movies in the first round.
you have to do it properly.
Yeah.
So, okay, Jurassic Park advances to the quarterfinals.
All right.
Now we have an interesting one.
What do we got?
Two very different movies. We
Yes.
have Parasite
Okay.
versus Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
You know what the first thing I pictured was? Fucking Ferris Bueller trying to ingratiate himself into a rich family. And like talking to the camera the whole time. Oh my god.
They don't know that I put peach fuzz inside the tissue.
The driver that I just got fired is probably thinking to himself, man, that guy sucks.
What do you think?
Different.
Because I'm honestly, like, I've been looking at this bracket for better part of the last 24 hours trying to prepare myself, and, like, I got nothing for this. I don't know, like, where to start thinking.
I think we have to start, at least, in the same realm that we ended on with the last matchup. Like, what's a digestible, fun movie to watch? Well, not fun, because that's handicapping Parasite, but what's a movie that, like, you've seen it already? Which one are you going to on the rewatch day? And I think, I'm not saying I'm picking it out the gate, I'm just saying that makes me lean towards Ferris Bueller.
I understand what you're saying with that, but, I think we also have to quantify, more like outside of the movie itself, like the real life impacts that it may have had, because Parasite does more than that than Ferris Bueller.
Well, okay, here's the thing. In these tournaments, we both have different, like,
Experiences.
No. We have these, like, different methodologies that we approach these matchups with sometimes. You like to look at, like, well, at a cultural significance. I'm not looking at culture. I'm looking at the movie. You know what I mean? Like, the product.
Yeah, but I think cultural significance is tied to the product. That's like, it's what we were just saying about Jurassic Park, #1 most highest grossing movie. Like, that's not a part of the movie.
At the end of the day, that didn't affect my decision in that matchup.
Okay. Two very different genres. Two very different levels of enjoyment coming out of it. Not to say that Parasite isn't enjoyable. Like, you'll watch Ferris Bueller start to end and you'll say, that was a fun little romp. You don't get that from Parasite. What you get out of Parasite is a feeling of like, oh my god, this is a experience that's changed how I view certain things, you know?
Yeah, I think trying to determine which one's the more fun experience is not fair.
That's not the way to go. I feel like just which is... I mean, the whole point of this tournament isn't like what is the most fun, easily digestible movie. It's just what is the best movie.
And I think a good measure of that is which movie is making you feel what it wants you to feel the most.
Well, both of them do that very well, because Parasite makes you feel a certain way, like, very... like, from the start of a movie, it does it very effectively with the way the cinematography is, like, the directing, the editing, everything in that movie is so carefully calculated to make you feel a certain way by the end of it.
We were talking about last episode, the way the first half differs from the second half, and the way the first half is, like, actually very funny and, like, not scary at all.
And then when the twist happens, it turns into a big thriller.
And I was thinking about how that first half is so effective at making you care about this family. And even though you're acknowledging, like, these guys are a bunch of shit-heels, but you kind of love them. And
even then, you can kind of relate to what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Exactly. And it's a great setup. And then...
There's no real villain except for the... I think the dad from a rich family is just a giant asshole.
He sucks.
I don't think he has any sort of redeeming features.
I don't
except
remember...
for maybe the love of his son, but even then, that's at the expense of other people. So
yeah,
not getting into plot details, obviously.
Yeah. So
as we said last time, it's a movie you're best going into blind, so that you can properly experience it without any bias.
And I think that setup of making you care about the family then leads to when the movie's ending tries to make you feel melancholic, it fucking hits.
Mm-hmm.
So it does that extremely well. So let's compare that to Ferris Bueller.
I mean, you're saying all of this about Parasite, and all I can think of Ferris Bueller is just like, haha, he outrun the principal.
And I know, and it sometimes
that's what it was made to do, and it did it very well. But
that's what I'm trying to quantify, because if you just compare a psychological thriller to a comedy, comedies always come out on the short end because they're simpler scripts. They're not meant to be that deep, usually. And
well, even then, this movie has moments of deepness where it talks about like identity and stuff. Like the whole character of Cam is based on that, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
He's depressed, and you can relate to that.
And he's also very whatever you say. Like he's indecisive. He's very codependent. And
he's the opposite of Ferris Bueller. Yeah,
and so watching Ferris help him grow is a fun thing. So that's what I was trying to get across when I said, we have to quantify what they're trying to do and how well they do it. Because Ferris Bueller, for what it tries to do, does it extremely well also. So this is actually very difficult.
I have a recency bias with Parasite.
I'm also trying to ignore that, because it's been a minute since I've seen Ferris Bueller compared to Parasite.
I mean, I know for a fact, but when I saw Ferris Bueller, I loved it, and I considered it, on the better end of the scale of movies that I've seen.
Yeah, same.
But then again, I have the same feeling a bit heavier with Parasite.
Yeah, it's a really tough one. I gotta be honest.
I'm gonna have to go with Parasite, just to make a decision here.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of time, basically.
No, not even time. We can't do that, because then we're just rushing. But
no. But I just mean we could go back and forth on this one all day. Because this one's very difficult.
Are you willing to let Parasite advance and not have Ferris Bueller in the tournament?
I think here's the nail.
It's a long-winded summary of the decision of do you vote for Parasite?
Here's the nail for me. I think Ferris Bueller will eventually run into something that's going to topple it anyway. Whereas Parasite's got a good shot. So I think I'm going to go with Parasite.
Parasite.
I like the movie Parasite, where the people go to the house and they eat the lettuce.
That's it. That's the movie. It's about rabbits. Okay.
That's the twist. They were all rabbits.
Oh, what a thrill. Okay. Back to the Future. Get Out.
Daylight. I was like, what's the song from Get Out? That's a tough one as well, for the same reason, actually.
12.21 gigawatts.
This is almost exactly the same conundrum as the last matchup.
Yeah.
Get Out.
You know what? I think I might go the opposite way.
I was actually very easily going to say Get Out on this one.
Really?
I think I love Back to the Future. Back to the Future
it's like Back to the Future.
It's like yeah, you do, don't you?
You bought the whole trilogy for me on Blu-ray for Christmas, I think.
Once I knew that you hadn't seen it, or
no, it's not that I hadn't seen it, so I didn't own it.
That's that, yeah. But yeah, no. I think it's a great. I love the entire trilogy. People sometimes dump on the third one. I think the third one's also great. I can't think of anything about this series I don't like. But Get Out made me fucking feel some things, man.
Yeah. Again,
wrong. Going back to what was the movie's goal, I think Back to the Future aces its goal. I think it's great at what it's trying to be. But Get Out, I think hits a harder spot. I think Get Out absolutely crushes what it's trying to do. To me, anyway. We talked about last episode.
I think Back to the Future does it as well, because on the surface level, yeah, it's a family fun time traveling adventure, but there's a lot of subtext in Back to the Future as well, there's political tones, comparing the two different times. There's critiques on the nuclear family and how it differs from in the past to the time now, but it was in the 80s,
Yeah.
Comparing the 50s and the 80s, there's a lot of statements there to be said.
Yes. And I am always a little bit of a sucker for oh, this guy from the present went back to the past, and then he did a thing, and it turns out that's how this thing was invented, like the song at the end.
Power of Love.
The Johnny Be Good.
Huh?
This when he's on stage playing the guitar.
That's the power of love.
That's not...
That's
No.
a song. Your kids will love it.
Anyway.
It's about like controlling your future in a weird way. It's like your future is it's like a line from one of them. Your future is whatever you make it, so make it good. I think that's in the third one.
Yeah.
It's not just like a surface level fun family adventure. There's some meat to Back to the Future.
There is. I'm not trying to say there isn't. I just feel like Get Out is such a dense experience. And it's not like you don't walk away from it feeling well, it's just such a strong statement of a movie. Like, I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time going Back to the Future on this one. Because it's great. It's fantastic.
I'm not underselling Get Out at all. Like, I agree with everything you're saying, but if it were me picking the two, I'd go Back to the Future.
I'm trying to, like, visualize. I have these two DVDs on my shelf, and I want to rewatch. I have time to rewatch one thing, and which one am I going to grab? I think I'm grabbing Get Out.
I'm gonna delegate to Resident Simp, and then if they aren't able to answer, we'll do a coin flip.
Yeah, because this one's a close call.
I mean, I've had good experiences with both of them, so I wouldn't be mad at either of them advancing, but I would be mad at either of them getting booted out.
That's the thing. I love both of these movies. I don't really want to
Their
see
first response is, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" It's like, "Oh, the boys have gotten themselves into a situation again."
Yeah, they know how it goes.
They say,
Everybody's stuck on this one.
Everybody hates Chris.
Why didn't that win the TV tournament?
Why wasn't that in the TV tournament?
It is a good show.
It wouldn't have won.
No, but it probably would have got at least to the second round.
Yeah. I mean, like we've been saying, it's another thing to consider which of these movies would last longer in the tournament.
I think Get Out has more legs.
Really?
I think so.
It's more than 2 legs.
Yeah.
TS. Motherfucking A. We handle shit.
Yes.
I
think that's the
I
other
really
thing.
love I love that entire character of the best friend in Get Out, but I love the interaction of him and the daughter on the phone, where like she's just dead faced, like trying to. Well, what they did was, I'm pretty sure they did a take where the actress was emoting and everything to make it sound like a normal person, but then they put that over footage of them being dead faced and just repeating the lines because they're like almost catatonic and reading like a prompter when they're doing it. But
that scene and the scene where she's psychopathically eating her cereal dry one piece at a time and sipping a glass of milk.
Yeah. Like I don't know why that freaked me out, but it did. There's like some sort of horror there.
It's the like facade of being this neat, pure, clean cut person.
But it's not normal.
No, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much good shit in it.
The Simp says Get Out is objectively a better movie, but Back to the Future you can rewatch a lot more.
I feel like you.
How does that stick that in your pipe for a little bit?
I disagree that it's necessarily more rewatchable. At least a significantly higher amount.
I mean, Get Out has I don't want to say a happy ending, because I don't know if anyone's happy at the end of it, but...
No, and there is also the alternate ending, which is much less happy.
Well, the alternate ending isn't in the movie, you know? I feel like any deleted scenes or any like alternative routes we can't really consider, because it wasn't presented to us.
No, I think the case was that the theatrical release was the less happy ending, and then the...
No, I saw the same version in both theaters and when I got home 6 months later on DVD.
That's what I heard, at least. Maybe that was just an American thing, or maybe that just wasn't true.
I mean, maybe it might have been a thing like the Avengers. There was no shawarma scene in the cinemas, and I was really mad about that.
Let me see.
Because I made my dad sit through the entire credits, being like, "There's a scene coming, there's a scene coming," and it didn't come, and I was like, "Well, great." Okay, the simp doesn't know what to do. Then no help. I think it's going to be a coin flip.
Okay, I'll get a coin.
Like how you hate the app now.
I mean,
For whatever reason,
like,
you prefer using real coins, like an old person.
I just like coins.
Make coins?
I just think they're neat.
I think the world should go back to coin-only currency. I think that's cool.
No.
I want to carry around a big bag of coins that look cool.
Germs.
Germs are on anything. Germs are literally on anything and everything.
No, shush. You have more germs passing currency than you do if you have a card, alright? That's literally what the pandemic has taught us.
Oh, I just mean cash money. I would still use a card.
I don't understand what you mean.
I want to get rid of paper money. I just want coins.
You don't like paper money?
Paper money's less interesting than coins.
So you hate strippers. You want them to be pelted with coins.
I
like they're
about
pigeons.
That. I hadn't thought about that because I don't go to strip clubs. But anyway, here's the coin flip.
Any movie where there's a scene where it's like a suitcase full of paper bills, it's just several coins
you know what
and
I
they all
think
start
people should
falling
do?
out.
You know what I think people should do? Because the strippers are on a stage. I think instead of stuffing coins down a stripper's bra or whatever, I think you should take a little coin purse and just toss it onto the stage. Not at the woman.
Help them with heavy bags.
Not at the woman. Just
Like
toss
a
it on
sock.
stage.
What the hell, man?
Then she has a bigger bag that she can put all your little bags into, and then she goes home with a
Then
big
she has
bag
to carry a
of coins.
big bag around, and coins are heavy.
But then she also gets a workout, and the next time she comes in, she's fucking shredded, and that's awesome.
For you.
Yes.
You're very selfish.
What do I give a fuck? I don't even go to strip clubs. What's heads and what's tails?
Okay, we'll go heads is Back to the Future and tails is Get Out.
Heads Back to the Future, tails is Get Out. Marty McFly, or the other guy. Heads, it's Back to the Future.
Other guy.
I forgot his
Even
name.
I know his name is Chris.
That's it.
My God, man.
It's Back to the Future.
Okay. You know what? It's really good. Get Out. It's a really good movie. Wholeheartedly recommended to those who haven't seen it. All right.
And you know what? It's kind of fair because in the last matchup that was almost the same thing. The serious movie got through and the comedy had to go. So in this one, the comedy gets through and the serious one has to go.
All right.
So,
there you go.
Get Out.
So,
Get out. Get out.
Get Out. You're out. You're out. You're out. Next up, we have The Matrix
Ooh.
versus Pulp Fiction.
Ah, now we're getting weird. This is we have
some weird stuff.
This is a time capsule versus a director's image.
Time capsule.
I mean, Tarantino kind of got off of this thing he was known for of doing the nonlinear movies, but this was what he was known for a little bit.
Well, he's known for non-linear movies, and he was about characters just having conversations about nothing.
I love Tarantino.
He still
dialogue.
does that. That's basically the entirety of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Is just people talking about nothing.
No, I wouldn't say it's nothing. I think there's a very
Oh
substantial
yeah, and then they
amount of good
punk
stuff in
Bruce
that
Lee.
movie.
That's yeah. And there's a flamethrower.
We're not talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No, we're talking about Pulp Fiction, which is a better movie.
You really don't like that movie, Jesus Christ. Anyway,
Controversial.
I think this is a
tough.
very strange matchup.
I mean, for me, the choice is obvious, but I want you to kind of explore.
What do you think is obvious about this?
I would go for The Matrix only because I had a lot more in-depth time with that whole franchise and that movie when I was growing up. I saw it when I was 10, I think.
If you want to say the one movie was influential, sure, but we got to put a pause on the franchise thing. Remember?
No, I know, but the first movie is a part of that franchise. I saw that one first, and that put me on to the series as a whole. So I think that movie is instrumental in some of my development.
Yeah, but
I watched it all the time, and then when the sequels came out, I watched those more. But there was a strong period in my life where I would just watch The Matrix, and maybe I was a bit too young to really understand the full grasp of what they were trying to convey here. But as much as it is like a schlocky late '90s action, like bang bang gun blasting movie, there's a lot of lore. There's a lot of cinematic techniques that go into it. A lot more. Like with the whole wire thing and the kung fu stuff, really bringing that to a more mainstream Western audience. There's the anime influences, which made me go look into more anime besides Dragon Ball Z. I don't know, it's just there's something about The Matrix. And don't get me wrong, like, Pulp Fiction is great. I love the way that it's structured. I love the characters. I love the, like, you don't know what's in the briefcase. I love that. But for me personally, I just have more of an emotional connection to The Matrix.
I think what's making me lean towards Pulp Fiction is the fact that it's more grounded. Like, I love The Matrix's lore, and I think it's a very cool concept, and it's executed extremely well. I don't have any complaints about The Matrix. When I watched Pulp Fiction, though, I had a much stronger reaction to that movie because...
Really?
The way its characters are written and fleshed out and just the way you see them bouncing around time, doing all this different shit for this briefcase and Bruce Willis's character and all this different stuff going on and how it kind of connects. I think when that movie ended, I was like, that was one of the craziest movie experiences I think I've ever had, and I want to rewatch it 1,000 times to like start piecing it all together more. And that was such a strong experience for me that The Matrix just didn't provide, because it's a linear movie, which it's not a fault of The Matrix. That's not its fault. It's good at that. But when just comparing the two movies next to each other, I think I'm going Pulp Fiction because it was such a strong experience for me.
I don't know if I can budge, honestly. I have too much of a connection of a roots into The Matrix as a whole.
This matchup seems like we're both stuck in our not nostalgia necessarily, but like that kind of.
I mean, I've already
personal...
delegated to the simp because I figured it would sort of come to this, but I guess I'm just genuinely surprised that you don't value The Matrix that high.
I think The Matrix is fucking great, and I love that movie, and I'll rewatch it right now. But if I had to pick between the two, I think I'm going Pulp Fiction.
I don't think you're incorrect, but I don't like it.
I can't say you're wrong, but I can say I'm upset.
I mean, yeah, it's just pretty much for all the reasons we've said. I think Pulp Fiction is a great movie, and I love it. It's just, as a kid, I watched The Matrix a lot, and I've sort of grew up with that franchise.
Yeah, I think the fact that Pulp Fiction wasn't my first Tarantino movie makes it even stronger, actually.
What was your first Tarantino movie?
Reservoir Dogs.
I haven't seen
So
that
I got a taste of his non-linear style.
How old were you when you watched that?
I was in middle school, so maybe like...
Oh, God.
maybe like 12 or 13.
Wow. I mean, yeah, that checks out.
But I loved that movie immediately, which made me so interested in more Tarantino stuff. And then when I saw Pulp Fiction, I was like, whoa! Like, it felt like the first time as a kid when you saw your starter Pokemon evolve, and you're like, whoa! Whoa, Ivysaur! It's bigger and better now! Like, that's how I felt.
More bulb!
It like a Tarantino movie just evolved right before my eyes. That's how I felt watching Pulp Fiction.
So Pulp Fiction has more bulb than The Matrix.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction is the Venusaur to Reservoir Dogs' Bulbasaur, and The Matrix is like a cool but totally different Pokemon, like fucking Electabuzz or something.
Nah, I'd main Electabuzz, like...
But that's what I mean. It's a great thing over there, but this has such a different strength to it to me.
I mean, the simp has said that they would go for The Matrix. which is
Then we
interesting.
go with The Matrix. I can't be upset about that. The Matrix is great.
Well, are you sure?
What am I going to do? I got outvoted.
Well, I mean, they're not here.
But
The entire point of asking them is to elaborate and explain to maybe put you on the right track, or put me on the right track.
We asked their opinion for a reason. It's a sway towards The Matrix, so
They're
I'm
the
okay with
invisible
that.
third member of this.
I'm okay with that, is what I'm saying.
You sure you're not mad? You're not upset?
I'm going to break up all my stuff later because of this decision. No, I'm fucking fine.
Okay.
They're both great movies. I can't be upset. It's not like Pulp Fiction lost to Amazing World of Gumball.
Who would win between?
Please don't.
I forgot. I asked them to elaborate, and they just say, "Is cooler."
No, I won't.
Is freezer.
Which movie do you pick? The Matrix. Oh, elaborate on that. No, I won't.
No. Oh, and they think Tarantino is gross, which, sure. They would think that because he has a foot thing, and they don't like to acknowledge that they have feet, so...
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Moving on. Oh, okay. Another interesting one. I don't know which way we're gonna go. Breakfast Club versus Night at the Museum.
For me, immediate response is Breakfast Club.
I thought so, but I feel like... I'm not disagreeing. I feel like it's worth at least discussing this, because
Sure.
Night at the Museum came out in like 2006. And
Yeah.
it's still good.
What year
A lot
did
of
Breakfast Club come out?
mid-2000s movies are very hit or miss with how they last.
Especially when you get into the roster of those comedy actors that Ben Stiller belongs in. Sometimes those movies are great, and then other times...
They're really bad.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying Ben Stiller is bad. I just said some of his movies are fantastic, and then other ones are less so.
It has a great performance from Robin Williams.
Yes. Owen Wilson's in it.
So is Steve Coogan.
Yes. I love how every time we talk about those two characters, I'm always the guy that's like, Owen Wilson, and then you're like, Steve Coogan.
Because, like, I don't know, Steve Coogan is big in British comedy. He's Alan Partridge. Like,
There you go.
we're a double act.
But I think Night at the Museum. Here's my stance on Night at the Museum. I think
alright.
it's a good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I have not seen it again since.
Really?
Yeah, and
I've seen
it's
it
not,
like multiple times.
and it's not because I don't want to, but it's not something I'm reaching for either.
You didn't enjoy it as much.
I mean,
As Breakfast Club.
that's the surmising of it. Yeah, but like, yeah, I it's a good movie. Nothing wrong with it, really.
No, I mean Breakfast Club is one of the better movies in this tournament so far. I'm not going to say no. I think it has advanced already based on what we've said, but Night at Museum's good.
It is. Here's the thing.
Nothing to scoff at. What did it beat in the first round? That's something interesting.
What did it beat?
Zombieland.
Oh, Zombieland.
Interesting.
Yeah, which I love that movie too. So it says something about Night at the Museum that it beat a movie I adore.
Okay, Breakfast Club. Here you go.
There you go.
Here we go.
We won't forget about you.
Don't.
Don't.
Ah! He's dead. Quickly, go to an ad break while we fix him.
Sorry!
Okay, we fixed him. It's fine. Everything's good.
Why did I talk about myself in the third person?
What do you mean? No, I thought you were saying that to me.
Andrew Kwan is calling me. Isn't this a wonderful thing?
The first bitter chatter experience of Andy.
First bitter chatter of a guest on the show. Hello, Andrew. We're recording a bitter chatter podcast right now. Say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
Hi, Andy. I don't think you can hear me, but hello.
You can't hear
Hello.
Carmine, but he's on the other end, so...
Oh, well, that's not how podcasts work. You see, how podcasts work is my cat runs down the stairs, which provides great content.
What do you
And
want?
Also, Oh, I was going to ask you a question, but since you're doing a podcast, I will wait till
No,
you
do
stop
it now.
doing podcasts.
No, do it now. Do it right now.
Oh, no, I can't do it right now. I will do it later.
Okay, Andrew. We will speak to you again soon. I will let you know when we are done.
Lovely. Please invite me to one of these things one day.
Oh, okay. No, hang on. All right, let's get your opinion on this next movie bracket. Which is the better movie? Is it Monty Python and the Holy Grail, or is it Fight Club?
Fight Club.
Why do you say this?
He's so fast.
Because I don't like any Monty Python, so sorry, I'm like the least British.
He's gone for that.
Just hang up on him.
Madness. Absolute fucking madness that a British person can fucking say that. Can say that he doesn't like any Monty Python. Andrew.
Fucking best hang up I've ever heard.
Andrew.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, that was your first taste of one of our favorite people in the world, Andrew Kwan. He will be on this show someday soon. We love him to death. Okay, so he has spoken very quickly to go to Fight Club, and this is
we're not acknowledging that.
No.
He's not it.
It was just an outside opinion. It's like looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Alright. He only went for Fight Club because he doesn't like Monty Python. Well, to you, alright?
Yeah, which is
I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster. Your father smelt of elderberries.
As two people that do like Monty Python and Fight Club, how do we feel about this one? Because I'm not sure yet.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, because they're very different.
It's not clean cut at all.
I'll say this. When I saw Monty Python, I enjoyed the shit out of it. I've watched both of these movies once. I'll start with that. When I saw Monty Python, I enjoyed the shit out of it. And since then, I remember some bits really well. And there's other bits when people quote them at me, I'm like, what is that? Oh, that's right. So I don't know what that says about either the movie or me, but that's the thing. And
It says a thing that you don't recognize the quotes sometimes.
And then with Fight Club, I remember all of it. And I didn't see this movie recently.
I studied it for a film class.
Did that disillusion you on this a bit?
No, it just means I have a more better understanding of this movie than I do, say, most other movies, because I have a bit of a leg up with this.
I think that's also, I didn't mention this, but I think that's also why I was like so heavy on Get Out, because I also studied it in a class.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. That was my first time seeing
you're
it.
You're in like an education like thing way after I am. So
Yeah, that's the thing.
that movie was released after I left school.
But anyway,
in terms of Fight Club in its own movie, there's a lot to say about the anti-capitalist rhetoric. There's a lot to say about the split personality thing, the attack on masculinity. There's a lot to say about the in-depth shit. The twist.
if you don't know it's coming, which I didn't when I saw it.
How do you not know? Because I feel like it's the I see dead people thing, or Rosebud, you know? Like, it's something that people have repeated ad nauseum.
Maybe, but at the age I was when I saw it...
I may be wrong on that take. It might be that people like are listening to this and they're like, I don't know, I only know the rules of Fight Club, which is not to talk about it.
That might be a common thing, actually. But when I saw it, which was like somewhere like late middle school, early high school, I just happened to not know the twist. And so watching the movie and not knowing what was coming was fucking awesome. So maybe that's why it's like really burned into my memory, because it was such a whoa like moment. Sort of like what we were talking about with Terminator 2, which we'll get to a little bit later.
Yep. I'm still mad at that.
But Monty Python also fucking great. And there are bits that I have known about since before I even saw the movie. And then when I saw it, they were still funny.
I think the movie is going to be funny no matter how many times you've seen it. It's one of those movies where just the jokes are so high caliber. Yeah.
Even if you laugh at it a little bit less than the first time you saw it, you're always going to laugh.
One of my favorite scenes is the bit with the bridge, where they encounter the guy with the riddles.
Yeah.
Answer me these questions free.
The
It's
rabbit.
such a well structured joke, and the way that that they just go flying off the cliff when they get it wrong. Just the way that it's shot, where it's like clearly a mannequin just being fucking
I do like
yeeted
that.
upwards.
I like that style.
And then the intermission gag is so funny in context. Like, and the whole get on with it, and the fact that there's like a fourth wall element where there's real police officers going out to arrest the characters.
You know what I think is happening here a little bit that
What's
I just
that?
realized as you're saying all this stuff? Like, I know you appreciate Fight Club. I appreciate Monty Python. But I think because each of these movies speaks so heavily to our individual cultures, like Fight Club attacks American culture very heavily.
Very much
And-
so. It's
and
a
Monty
very
Python-
big criticism of capitalism and everything like that. So
And
it's,
Monty Python's deeply ingratiated in British comedy.
yeah.
So that might also be what's kind of happening here a little bit. This might have to be a coin flip.
I think Fight Club can be a lot more toxic to general audiences.
Here's the thing about that. I know where you're coming from with that, but that's not. What am I trying to say here? There's a
My
difference.
point
between,
being is that you have men that look at this movie and they see Tyler Durden and they want to be Tyler Durden. And like
Yes.
that's not the point of the movie at all. He is definitely an example of who you should not be.
right. That's what I was kind of going to get to. Is that's not a fault of the movie. That's a fault of people misunderstanding the movie. The movie is actually very explicitly trying to tell you this is a bad thing.
But you love it.
Right, because he's very well written and charismatically performed by Brad Pitt, so that doesn't help. But
Do you think he likes dogs?
But yeah, I mean, seems like his name was Robert Paulson and shit like that.
His name was Robert Paulson.
They're so deeply burned into my head, and
I love the bit where Jared Leto just gets disfigured because he gets punched so hard. Like, that speaks to me on an emotional level because I don't like that man.
And Ed Norton's performance. I don't think we talked about it last episode. So fucking good.
He's a great actor anyway. We know this.
There's
Like,
unrelated
one of the
to
true
this.
thespians of Hollywood.
They're unrelated to this conversation. He did a movie called oh fuck, I just forgot it's Brooklyn something. You know the movie I'm talking about?
Heights?
No, hold on.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Norton.
Brooklyn Bridge.
Motherless Brooklyn.
Red
Jesus
Dragon.
Christ. It's a detective movie and he plays a character with Tourette's, and
When did this come out?
2019.
That'd be why I don't know it.
It's very new. Bruce Willis is also in this movie.
Yippee-ki-yay with Norton.
He's coming up a lot. Fantastic movie. I just recommend people go watch it. Anyway.
Uh-huh. Okay. I'll take note of that. Brooklyn, homeless Brooklyn?
Motherless Brooklyn.
Motherless Brooklyn. I will remember this.
So, anyway, back to Fight Club versus Monty Python. Yeah, I don't know if I can budge off a Fight Club here.
It's just a flesh wound.
Fucking great comedy. We were saying it last week, singing its praises. Maybe one of the best comedies, just like all-round, well-written comedies. But here's the difference, I think, that's pushing me here a little bit. Even though it kind of goes against what I said earlier when we were talking about Ferris Bueller had that narrative depth underneath the comedy, whereas Monty Python's not even attempting to do that. You know what I mean? And that's not a fault. What Monty Python's attempting to do is just be funny, and it's fucking top tier at it. I don't know,
It's a critique of government in the Arthurian legend.
I do suppose
It's a running
so.
commentary on the Lady of the Lake.
Yeah, I suppose
Some
so.
bint in a river distributing powers of government.
This sucks, because I really like Monty Python, and I don't think I can...
Oh,
I don't
now
know
we
what to
see
do.
the violence inherent in the system. Help, help, I'm being repressed.
She turned me into a newt.
On second thought, let's not go to Camelot. It is a silly place.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you thinking?
I would feel sad if Monty Python was kicked out. I would not feel sad if Fight Club left.
I feel the same way, but the opposite.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I'm trying to think about it from a less...
Would anything persuade you?
I'm trying to think about it from a less attached perspective and seeing if that changes anything.
Listen, two men sitting in their bedrooms distributing podcasts is no basis for a system of movie ranking.
I don't know.
Supreme executive power derives from the tomatoes.
Do we have to coin flip this?
Yes, I suppose.
Yeah, let me...
we're gonna have boo-hoos, we're gonna have bad vibes, no matter what happens anyway, so let's get it over with.
I could come to terms with whatever happens with this coin flip.
I could as well, because I'm an adult.
Tails is Monty Python?
Sure.
Alright, let's see what happens. Coin flip, catch, flip, and it is heads. So that one's going to Fight Club.
Okay, I guess we're breaking the first two rules then.
We've talked about Fight Club a lot. Sorry, Monty Python, you're an amazing movie. I don't mean any disrespect.
Snatch.
Love this.
Star Wars.
Oh, man.
Hate this. I hate that these two movies are going up against each other.
I have conflicting feelings about this.
So do I.
Alright, we have to just look at Star Wars Episode 4.
We are.
That's so
I'm picturing
difficult.
Alec Guinness hating every second of it. And never reading any fan mail because he's a prick.
Yeah, it's an odd thing to...
Because he was like a proper British thespian, like proper, like...
Then why join the Space Wizard movie?
He didn't know what would happen. He didn't know it would become basically the nerd's orgasm in movie form.
It's a fucking Space Wizard movie!
Alright, let me Google it then. Let me get
Like, how do you
this
look at
man
that
who has since
script?
passed, let me get his opinions. He can't defend himself.
How do you look at that script and go, the nerds won't care about this?
Do you think he just... Wait, hold up. Do you think Alec Guinness just talks like Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He's from London. He doesn't talk like that. Apparently Guinness wasn't happy with the, apparently it was a script rewrite that resulted in Obi-Wan dying.
Oh.
But that's what George Lucas says. But then Guinness says in a 1999 interview that it was actually his idea to kill off Obi-Wan.
Oh.
Okay, so we're never going to know the truth behind that.
Yeah.
He's
He's mad because I killed his character. He's like, no, I wanted my character dead. It's like, well, then why are you mad?
I'm not.
The whole thing was made up. I actually love Star Wars.
There must be like a trove of information as to why he wasn't happy about being in Star Wars.
I thought it was just that he didn't like the fans.
Apparently he hated the bloody awful script.
Oh, wow. So then why the fuck did you join the movie? Didn't you read it before you
I'm
agreed
reading
to
the
it?
fucking article. Give me a minute.
I'm not yelling at you.
Yes, you are. I'm listening.
I'm just yelling around you.
One of the most legendary actors to ever appear in the sci-fi series, Sir Alec Guinness was not a fan of a script given to him by George Lucas and even branded it fairy tale rubbish. Let me
Again.
read on before you say, why, Alec, why?
Why?
Why? More!
More!
Stop!
More!
Alright, by the time Guinness was already a well-known actor, having starred in The Bridge on the River Kwai, The Horse's Mouth, and Lawrence of Arabia. He was even in Dr. Zhivago. Apparently Star Wars rubbed him the wrong way. He penned a letter to his friend saying, I've been offered a movie which I may accept if they come up with proper money. London and North Africa starting in mid-March. Science fiction, which gives me pause, but is to be directed by George Lucas, who did American Graffiti, which makes me feel I should. Big part, fairy tale rubbish, but could be interesting perhaps.
Okay, that makes it sound a lot more measured of an opinion than just snipping out the fairy tale rubbish part.
In another letter, he writes, "New rubbish dialogue reaches me every other day on wadges of pink paper, and none of it even makes my character clear or even bearable. I just think thankfully of the lovely bread, which will help me keep going until next April, even if Yahoo collapses in a week."
Yahoo?
I don't know, he's British, he's mental. "I must off to the studio and work with a dwarf. Very sweet, and he has to wash in a bidet. Oh. And your fellow countrymen Mark Hamill and Tennyson. That can't be right. Ford. Ellison? No. Well, a rangy, languid young man who is probably intelligent and amusing. But oh God, they make me feel 90 and treat me as if I was 106. Oh, Harrison Ford. Ever heard of him?" He hated it so much that he wanted the Lucas to kill Obi-Wan.
That letter does not scream to me he hated it so much. I don't know. I feel like people are reaching.
He didn't like it, apparently. He didn't like it. He didn't like the tone of the movie, so...
I mean, sure, that definitely comes across.
So he didn't have to be in it anymore. That's kind of bold. That's kind of a player move in that, like, you know what? Fuck this. I don't enjoy being in this movie. Can you please kill my character?
I get the horrible sense that this is going to become a decades-long franchise, and I don't want to be fucking roped into that. Kill me.
I mean... He only lived for, like, what, 20 years afterward?
That's enough that he would have been in the rest of the trilogy.
Yeah, no, he fucked it. He porked it. He messed it up. Versus Snatch.
So, I don't know that we surmised Snatch, but did we talk about, like, the vibe?
Guy Ritchie directed it.
It's fucking dope. I know I said that, like, this feels to me like the epitome of an early 2000s movie, stylistically, but I don't know if that quite gets across the vibe.
It's a very London vibe. It's
super London, super funny, super, like, there's good action. Like, it's got that kind of Mad Max style writing.
Yeah.
Where, like, sometimes it's just like, oh, that's just cool. There's no purpose behind it, but it's cool.
It's fun to look at.
Yeah, man. What was the name of that character? Like, there was some character with a really cool nickname.
Bricktop?
No. It was like Bullet something.
Boris the Blade.
Boris the Blade. I don't know why.
The guy who couldn't die.
Boris the Blade. Like, that's just, like, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then you have Star Wars, which, as much as it is derailed...
Did Star Wars have Boris the Blade?
As much as it is derailed into a cesspool, it's...
A cesspool of horrid cinema.
It's a great movie.
It is.
It started a franchise for a reason.
I don't really have many strong opinions about either one of these, so I'm entirely leaving it up to you.
That's odd. I thought you liked Snatch a lot, or... At least. Do. So then what do you... Alright.
So we're going with Snatch?
I think so.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think so. Star Wars is great, but we did talk about, like, some of the jank in Star Wars, like with the fucking Vader vs. Obi-Wan scene and how it's fucking weird and not good.
I'm getting a telegram. It is from a Mr. Aled Jinwis, and he says, "I don't want Star Wars to be in the tournament anymore. Please kill it." Alright, you got it, Mr. Allard. Fair enough.
Well, your wish has been granted, because I think Snatch just beat Star Wars, and that entire franchise is now out of the tournament.
Good riddance.
2/3 of it got eliminated in the first round, and the other one got beat by Snatch.
Well, 2/3, like, got eliminated for better movies.
That's what I mean, like... It didn't really put up that much of a fight.
Speaking of a fight, I feel like I'm about to leap myself off a building and fight with my soul right now.
Why?
On one hand, we have Shrek.
Oh no, I know what this is.
On the other hand, we have Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Now listen, one of these is the greatest fucking, like, experience I've ever had watching a movie.
And the other one's Terminator 2.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Fuck you.
No, okay, for real though,
Okay,
Terminator...
do you genuinely feel that way about either of these?
Here's the thing. I think Terminator 2 is actually one of the greatest experiences I've had watching a movie, because that moment was the
Moment of Arnie
hypest...
being the good guy, yeah.
Yeah, was the hypest thing I had ever seen up to that point in my life. Shrek is a great comedy, but as we said last time, it's not even the best Shrek movie.
See, I go back and forth on this quite a lot, because it's either this one or the second one, but
I think
I don't
Shrek
know.
2 just does everything Shrek 1 does better.
I think it relies a bit too heavily on pop culture.
I feel like the same thing can be said about Shrek 1, though.
No, Shrek 1 does it, but Shrek 2, like, does it, you know?
Maybe
You
you're
literally
right.
have, like, Joan Rivers in the movie.
That's true.
Like, it's not even Joan Rivers pretending to be someone else, it is just Joan Rivers.
It's just fantasy Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
That's true, but I stand by the fact that Shrek 1 has simplicity
I fucking
shortcomings.
love Shrek. I fucking love Shrek 1.
It is a good
Shrek
movie.
1 is amazing,
not at all.
right?
I am not at all trying to say it's not a good movie.
I've watched numerous video essays on Shrek.
Is it basically a cinematic shitpost? Yes. But-
No.
I mean,
Shrek 2 is more of a shitpost than the first one. The first one, I think, is, it's been made into a shitpost
Maybe that's
online,
true.
but at the time that it came out, I think it was like an earnest retelling of like a parody, a satire of the fairy tale.
Oh, it's absolutely that's what
the
it is.
fairy
yeah.
tale genre.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it ends with the woman being ugly, and it's like, but I'm supposed to be beautiful, and Shrek is like, but you are beautiful. So-
was that your Mike Myers impression?
Donkey,
Oh,
we gotta
donkey.
cook.
I'm an onion.
What are you doing?
What am I doing?
What are you doing?
That's what you were doing.
What are you doing?
Hey, donkey, I'm an onion donkey.
Hey, donkey, what you doing in my swamp?
Captain Jack Sparrow.
John Connor.
Yeah, so, okay, here's the thing.
I
Shrek's
go
great.
Terminator 2, I can't not.
Shrek's great. We gotta go Terminator 2. Terminator 2
That's the reason why I'm not attached to Snatch or Star Wars, because I know neither of those is going to be Terminator either, so...
That is gonna be tough. What's gonna be
Please
the
not.
toughest is if there's anything I'll be able to do, because I don't know necessarily that it's the best movie, so I'm wondering if there's gonna be any matchup I'll be able to say to you, does this one beat Terminator 2?
We might get there, but it's going to take a lot of deliberating, and we might get another movie tournament moment, TV tournament moment. in this,
Yeah,
but
it's gonna be tough.
We're going to push that down. We're not going to worry about it.
Now here's the thing.
For those who are crying out in agony, being like, "No, it's Shrek. You can't do that to Shrek." Go and watch Terminator 2.
Yeah, honestly,
Just
yeah.
honestly, earnestly, not even kidding. Just go and watch it.
Now,
You'll understand.
is the John Connor character in Terminator 2 the maybe weakest part of the movie? But not even, I don't even say that like he's bad.
He's the best John Connor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the franchise. That's not this one movie.
But we'll get more into the nitpicking of T2 later. For now,
We don't have to for now because it's objectively better than Shrek.
It beats Shrek, yeah.
It does. All right. Quarterfinals.
Now
Baby.
we're really, I think at this point we're probably going to end up speeding through this because we've said most of what can be said about most of these movies.
It's just, this is a really eclectic mix now.
Yeah, this has been an interesting tournament so far.
This is what happens every time, is that you get so far into a tournament that you only have strong candidates left.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
And
Jurassic
my favorite
Park
Yeah.
versus Parasite.
Oh, what I was just about to say actually is that my favorite thing about doing these tournaments is that I have such like shitty memory that I don't have like a visual depiction of this bracket in my head, so I don't actually always even remember which matchups are coming.
That's fair. You get surprised every time, and that's
Pretty
fine.
much. And this is a good example of that. Jurassic Park versus Parasite. Holy shit.
I don't know. You were eager to, well, not eager. You were on the fence, leaning more towards Ferris Bueller.
Well, I was also leaning more towards Lord of the Rings. Like, neither of these movies were my first pick last round. So I don't...
Jurassic Park versus Parasite.
That's really interesting. And I've got to stop saying that about every matchup. So
This is really interesting.
calling myself out there. These are extremely different movies, and so what's a grounded base to like start looking at this from? I've
seen both of these as an adult.
So have I, yeah.
Because Jurassic Park is something that maybe you'll see as a kid because it came out in 1993.
Yeah.
Whereas this Parasite came out in 2019, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that recency bias, which I've already specified with the previous round.
Something that I don't know. There's a lot I don't know in life, but something that I don't know that Parasite can match up with here is rewatchability.
We said this in the last round as well.
Yes, but what did
how long is that going to be a handicap?
Well, for Ferris Bueller, it's not as much of a loss in that category. Like Ferris Bueller's rewatchable, absolutely, but it's not. Is it Jurassic Park levels rewatchable? Like,
that is one big pile of shit.
We haven't even touched on Jeff Goldblum's character, which can I just say real quick?
Life finds a way.
As an aside, people watched Jurassic Park and said, man, that Jeff Goldblum guy really knows how to do this oddly neurotic, eccentric character really well. And then over the course of every movie he's been in since then, people went, oh, I don't think he was acting. I think that's just how he is. And that's
why people
something
love
special.
him so much.
Yeah.
Remember his cameo in Friends? I have a cousin who died because of bad wireless service.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The characters in Jurassic Park are really good.
Dr. Ian Malcolm, Dr. Alan Grant, T-Rex.
Clever Girl, Wayne Knight,
Samuel L. Jackson.
like what I was saying in the last episode, there's a lot of memorable scenes in Jurassic Park. And
there's memorable scenes in Parasite. Like, I'll never get that scene in the birthday party out of my head, for better or for worse.
That is true. The scene on the couch, for better or for worse.
You know what's a real fun fact about that?
What?
Is that when I first watched this movie, I watched it with my parent.
Oh, that's fun.
That's not fun. That's really bad. It's really awkward.
Those are the best kind of movie watching moments where you're like, hi,
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Because you never know those are going to come. That's the thing that makes them suck the most.
Welcome to the cum zone.
This is difficult.
I don't want to do a coin flip. I feel like we have to have our guts here. These are the quarterfinals. We can't do it to any of these movies.
What's a stronger element to these movies? The reveal,
the social commentary, or the dinosaurs?
The reveal and darkness that Parasite presents, or the fantastical science adventure that Jurassic Park presents. This is the problem. Presents.
Every time I think of something about Jurassic Park, I think, yeah, that'll be Parasite. But then every time I think of something in Parasite, I'm thinking, yeah, that's better than Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I'm having the same kind of crisis here. We have to nail down one comparable category, and I think that'll be the deciding factor. But what is that category?
I can't even delegate to the simp because I haven't seen Parasite. Sorry, Ellie.
Do we have to go back to the what does the movie aim to do and how well does it do it discussion?
Well, the movie aimed to have realistic dinosaurs, and I think it did that very well.
Yes.
The effects hold up.
I think the aim of the movie might be a little bit more a fun adventure that teaches people not to fucking play God. And it is good at that.
Did they learn from that? No. They definitely did not.
That is true.
They kept doing the same fucking thing.
That is true.
At least 5 more times.
Yeah. And then Parasite, what is it
Is
even
a
really...
solo experience.
What is it really even aiming to do?
It's aiming to highlight the disparity between the classes, like the upper class and the lower class.
What was that? What is that called? What's the term for that? Like wealth equality?
Well, I guess wage gap, but quality of life is a general term that can be applied to both.
Yeah, and it's very good at that.
I'm gonna delegate to the Wikipedia to see if there's anything we might be missing out with this.
Because we could look at the accolades, and then that heavily sways towards Parasite.
Well, I mean, we're looking at the highest grossing movie of all time until Titanic versus Best Picture. They're two entirely different achievements, but neither of which have, experienced.
Yeah. But I think winning Best Picture as a foreign film is a weighted accomplishment.
Billions of dollars went into these dinosaurs.
Not actually that much.
Apparently there's going to be a TV series of Parasite, and then there's 2 sequels being planned.
Huh?
Whether that happens or not is interesting. Well, I mean, it may not necessarily follow the same characters. You know how this can be. It can be...
yeah, but what do you even do with that?
The main themes of Parasite are class conflict, social inequality, and wealth disparity.
Those are the words I was kind of trying to think about, yeah.
Film critics and Bong Joon-ho himself have considered the film as a reflection of late-stage capitalism, and some have associated with the term Hell Joseon, a satirical phrase that describes how living in hell would be exactly like living in modern South Korea. This term came about due to high rates of youth unemployment, the intense demands of pursuing higher education, the crisis of home affordability, and the increasing socio-economic gap between the wealthy and the poor. In Coronavirus Capitalism Goes to the Cinema, Nolman writes that the etymology of the word parasite originally refers to person who eats at the table of another, which is presented in one of the scenes in the film. Nolman also notes the connection between parasites and the Marx quote, "The capitalist is only capital personified."
I feel like we're getting lost in the sauce a little bit here.
Dinosaurs are really cool.
Yeah, they sure are. I think, alright, just for the sake of making a decision, I have to just...
Okay, let's look at this objectively, alright? We have to look at this as being the best movie ever made. When I say that, do you think of Jurassic Park or do you think of Parasite? Which of these two best fulfills that notion?
That's so tough.
Jurassic Park.
I was gonna say Parasite.
Fuck's sake. No, it's gotta be Jurassic. I'm making a choice. It's Jurassic Park.
You're just choosing for me?
I mean, hey, any objections? That says it. That says it, alright? You have your... Hey, alright, calm down. It's okay. Sling your hook. It's alright.
Yeah,
everything's gonna be fine.
Fuck it. Alright, let's go Jurassic Park.
Yes? Alright. Parasite is really good.
It says a lot that we had such a difficult time making that decision.
Yes. Alright. Parasite. Semi-finalist.
Jurassic Park is semi-finalist.
That's what I said.
You said Parasite.
Jurassic Parasite.
That's the next movie.
Yeah, just a bunch of Korean people on an island somewhere. Right. Back to the Future versus The Matrix.
Ooh.
For me, it's The Matrix. Again, because of that connection I have with it. Both are considered to be the greatest science fiction movies of all time, both very tonally different.
Yeah, for sure.
One is for adults, one is for the family.
You know, when I think about the tones, I'd rather watch Back to the Future. I love The Matrix a lot. It's a great movie. I just feel like I need to say that. I think I'd prefer Back to the Future.
I request elaboration.
No, I won't. No.
You ever heard of a ship of Theseus? I request elaboration. No. Fuck off.
Credits roll.
Yeah.
I think when I'm thinking about the tones of the movie and how The Matrix, for a lot of it, feels desperate Not in a way like the movie's desperate to make you care about it. I mean, like the tone of the characters are desperate, and
Have you ever stood and stared at it,
is that a quote or am I missing something?
marveled at its beauty, its genius? Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious.
Yeah.
But I believe that, as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering. The perfect world was a dream that your primitive cerebrum kept trying to wake up from.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That quote basically is what I'm talking about.
Illusions, Mr. Anderson, vagaries of perception.
Mr.
Temporary
Anderson.
constructs of a feeble human intellect trying desperately to justify an existence that is without meaning or purpose.
Are you reading this
We're
off
not
of something,
here
or do you just
because
remember
we're
this?
free. We're here because we're not free. There's no escaping reason, no denying purpose, because as we both know, without purpose, we would not exist.
Are you reading that off of something, or did you just actually remember that?
Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world, where none suffered, where everyone would be happy? It was a disaster.
I think
No one would accept the program.
I think at some point we do need to actually talk to each other instead of you just
And all of
quoting
them
me.
as artificial as the Matrix itself, although only a human mind could invent something as insipid as love.
I don't know if Brooks is okay right now, ladies and gentlemen.
I want the Matrix to advance. I'm hoping that I would wear you down psychologically and emotionally to the point where you're just like, yeah, okay, fine, just stop quoting him, please.
But 1.21 gigawatts.
Great Scott, what the hell is a gigawatt?
88 miles an hour, Marty.
Back to the Future.
Yep, that's the name.
I died.
Yeah, no, I'm having a hard time going Matrix on this one, as much as I love the movie, because Back to the Future is so much fucking fun.
Why do I have to always acquiesce to your fucking
We
decisions here?
literally have gone with your picks, I feel like, on the last, 3 matchups.
Fine, I'll give you this one then. If we're gonna be like that, we're gonna do this.
No, I mean,
Back to the Future.
is there a discussion to be had here? Because I'm willing to have it.
I don't think so, because everything that I've said to you previously is.
Well, because here's the thing, right? You're mainly hitting me with I grew up with this movie. You're not really giving me its
the
strength.
cyberpunk aesthetic was very rare in cinema. Then this blew open the landscape, and it gave birth to a new subgenre. I don't know what you'd call it.
This is going back to the looking at it as an individual project versus its influence discussion. I agree with what you're saying.
You can't not have that discussion.
Sure you can.
Why?
Because we're just talking about 2 movies and comparing them.
But the movies have an effect on society.
Does Back to the Future not
Yes.
have a big effect on society?
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying The Matrix is bigger because it brought out pretty much a new subgenre of cinema. Back to the Future didn't do that.
I don't know that that's true. I mean,
think
the
it is.
subgenre thing, yes, but as far as just straight up and down cultural significance,
It gave the Wachowskis a platform to create their own batshit insane movies, some of which are great, some of which are Jupiter Ascending.
yeah.
But the fact that it did that, the fact that The Matrix was able to give them that platform says something. These were the 2 people you would go to create something crazy.
Yes.
Their auteurism is, What else has Robert Zemeckis done? That's a conversation to be had.
I know he's done a lot.
He's done a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know they're making this a musical?
What?
Back to the Future, yeah, it's been made into adapted to the stage.
Okay. Robert Zemeckis,
There's
Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Castaway, The Witches, Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Flight, Allied, Contact,
Contact.
The Polar Express, Death Becomes Her.
That was good. All right, okay, all right. He's a pioneer. Okay.
Yeah.
Wachowski films. The Matrix, the Matrix, the Matrix, the Matrix, Cloud Atlas, Jupiter Ascending, Speed Racer, the Animatrix, V for Vendetta, the Matrix Revisited, Assassins, Ninja Assassin,
Matrix Assassins.
all of the Animatrix. Do I delegate to the simp?
Well, I'll say this. Whatever they say, I'm okay with going with that.
I don't dislike Back to the Future. It's just I feel stronger about the Matrix.
I don't dislike the Matrix. I just feel stronger about Back to the Future.
It's like I'm looking in a mirror, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson. I like exaggerating it a little bit more every time I say it.
Mr.
Anderson. Wasn't that
That's his
actually
name in
his
TNA?
TNA?
Yeah. Stupid. No one understands that. That's listening.
There was
to
a
this.
wrestler in WWE named Mr. Kennedy, and his whole gimmick was a mic would fall from the sky, and he would shout his own name, and then when he went to a different wrestling promotion, he called himself Mr. Anderson instead of Mr. Kennedy, and he did the same gimmick.
Wrestling's fucking dumb.
It is, but I liked him.
Yeah, he was good. No, we'll save that for the wrestling episode.
If we ever do one.
We'll get Andy on for that one.
That'd be fun. Or Keelan, maybe.
Yeah, good luck with that.
He'll take us through wrestling history. That could be the episode.
Yeah. They just say, what the fuck? Yeah. How do you do it?
Yeah.
I said we can't do a coin flip, but we might have to.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, no, wait, they go Matrix. They go Matrix.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Okay, all right.
Shut up.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, okay. I'm all right with that. Matrix advances.
Matrix, okay. All right. I want to paint you a scenario here.
Okay, paint it.
You're in school,
Okay.
walking down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about to end the school day, but it's when
yeah.
all the after-school clubs start coming on.
Yeah.
You look in the classroom to your left.
Mm-hmm.
You see a couple of kids dancing on a table, and then one of them falls through the ceiling. Then you look in the room on your right, and you see a man with bitch tits squaring up to fight another man. Which club do you join?
No! This is a great matchup!
The Breakfast Club or the Fight Club?
This is a great matchup!
I don't know why. Calling the movie The Fight Club.
Wow. I think my
Hmm.
immediate reaction to this is to go Breakfast Club.
I was gonna go Fight Club. What the fuck?
Why does this keep happening? We are best friends and we can't agree on shit!
Explain yourself, Mr. Anderson.
It's sort of like... I actually don't remember what movie I was
Because you were really vouching for Breakfast Club over Night of a Museum, and you were really vouching for Fight Club over Holy Grail.
Yeah.
So why does Breakfast Club beat out Fight Club?
I really fucking like The Breakfast Club. Like,
So do I.
And when I say that, I mean, like, this movie, like, affected me. And I'm not even sure how, but it left a deep imprint on me. And just something about the simplicity of it, but the incredible execution of that simple idea. I don't know many movies that I would pick over Breakfast Club if I'm really going to get into it. It's one of my favorite movies ever.
How have I never known this about you before?
I don't think it's come up.
Isn't it weird how these tournaments, like, we learn about each other?
Yeah, absolutely.
You could do a psychoanalysis on both of us.
For example, I didn't know you felt this fucking strongly about The Matrix.
Yeah, bro, you know it.
But yeah, no, I really, 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 really like Fight Club. Again, fantastic movie. And when I first saw it, I was blown away by the twist and I thought it was great. I don't think I can give it over Breakfast Club though.
I think that's fair. I'll go with that.
Okay, well that was the quickest one we've had so far.
No, just because I agree with everything you're saying. I don't have anything else to add to that conversation.
All right, fair enough. Breakfast Club, you're moving on.
Last matchup of the bracket.
Oh no.
Snatch versus Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
I
Snatch had a good run.
That says it all, really. I agree.
It was good. It was good while it lasted. It's not beating Terminator 2.
I think, oh man, this makes next round scary, but I think
We're at the semi-finals, bro.
Terminator 2 has...
Well, let's just take a moment to properly discuss it, because I don't think we actually have, because on the first episode we ran out of time. We've not even said what it's about, right?
True. Okay, so Terminator 1, for context, is the story of the Terminator, a robot that comes back in time to kill the mother of the leader of the rebellion in the future. The leader being John Connor, the mother being Sarah Connor.
The rebellion being the Machines, which is from a global corporation called Skynet,
an AI
which became self-aware.
Yup.
But because it ran all of the world's computers and everything, it basically threw some nukes at Russia. They nuked us back, and it was like worldwide, complete eradication of humanity, except for this resistance.
Nuclear holocaust, and now the robots rule the world. And John Connor leads the resistance, and they're gaining ground. So the Terminator, or the Skynet, decides to send a Terminator back in time to make it so that John Connor's never born.
They target the mother, Sarah Connor, in the 80s.
And so obviously that doesn't work. Sarah Connor survives the movie. John Connor's
because
born.
the Resistance send back Kyle Reese to protect Sarah Connor from the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes, and if you haven't somehow seen Terminator 1 and care about spoilers, skip ahead like 30 seconds. It's revealed that they share a night, and Kyle Reese is John Connor's father. And they conceive John Connor, and then the movie ends without anybody other than Kyle Reese dying. And
Kyle Reese dies, but Sarah Connor escapes the Terminator by crushing it inside a hydraulic press, wherein only 2 items of it survive: the chip that's in its brain, and the hand of the Terminator.
Yes, and then we move on to Terminator 2. John Connor's now born. He's a young kid. And he's a bit of an asshole. And
we're in the 90s because he was traveling with Sarah, but then Sarah got arrested because of the people thought she was crazy. She gets put in a mental asylum, and then John Connor goes to foster homes and everything.
Yup, and then Skynet sends back an upgraded Terminator, the T-1000,
which isn't played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, it's played by a different guy.
Played by Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick, that's the one. And
he just looks like a normal guy. He's very slim, very slender, looks like a friendly police officer. Very different than the muscle-bound Arnie.
But the reason this is an upgraded Terminator is because it's made out of liquid metal and can shapeshift and go through walls or go through tiny holes and all that shit.
It has limits. It can't be any complex machinery. It can only be like knives and stabbing weapons.
And it can make itself look like anybody that it touches.
Yes.
It goes after John Connor as a kid because, that's the next logical step. And then we see Arnold Schwarzenegger again, who, by the way, I don't think we actually said it, plays the Terminator in the first movie. And
I think everyone knows that Arnie is the Terminator. I don't think we need to preface that.
Right. The thing is, when we see Robert Patrick in T2, it's not immediately made clear, I don't think, that he's a Terminator.
No, it's made clear that he's looking for John Connor, and then it's made clear that Arnie is looking for him as well, but we don't know which one is which.
Right, and Robert Patrick's dressed as a police officer, so we think, okay, he must be like a Kyle Reese type, going after John Connor to protect him from Schwarzenegger coming back. But then the coolest reveal in maybe movie history happens when they both approach John Connor at an arcade, and what is he carrying, Arnold? What is he carrying?
Arnold is carrying a box of roses.
He's carrying a box of roses, and as the two lock eyes and are both coming towards John Connor, Arnold says, "Duck," and then he pulls a fucking shotgun out of the box of roses and blasts the shit out of Robert Patrick, who is then like, "Oh my god, he's a robot. He was going to kill John Connor. That means fucking Arnold's on our side. This is so cool."
And then when Arnie and John Connor go to fucking break Sarah out of the mental institute, which she's about to do. She's already incapacitated a guard to take one of them hostage, try and get out, running through the hallway. Out of the elevator comes Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, the one that killed Kyle Reese, the one that nearly killed her, the one that basically put her in this place, and she freaks the fuck out, starts running away, screaming. But then Arnie says, "Come with me if you want to live."
Again, this whole franchise is full of.
Oh, I'm getting
iconic quotes.
goosebumps.
And the movie goes from there. It's revealed that this Terminator, played by Arnold, was modified by future John Connor and sent back to protect young John Connor. And I don't want to say much more than that because then we're just getting into the plot. And so
The ending makes me cry every time.
it's amazing.
I mean,
It's-
everyone knows the ending. He gets put in the lava and he gives a thumbs up.
Well,
It's iconic.
he doesn't just get put in the. There's a reason, but
He puts himself down.
um,
And everyone cried, and I cried, and I still cry, because
yeah,
the entire movie is built around the predicate of John Connor not having a father figure, and then this Terminator, like, he's trying to teach the Terminator how to be human, and, like,
Yes.
there's little bits that rub off, so at the start, he's, like, proper Arnie, like, I am a cybernetic processor, a learning computer, and then at the end, he's like, I know now why you cry, but it is not something I can do.
yeah, it's pretty fucking great.
There's a reason why it is probably always going to be my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, and it is great, and it's just
And the special effects, like the budget that it had, the visuals that it executes, like the set pieces, like you mentioned it, the arcade chase that escalates into the highway, where you're getting chased by a lorry.
yeah,
And then the entire bit at Cyberdyne, where they have to go and destroy the brain chip in the hand that was aforementioned. Oh, I thought you were laughing.
No, I just always remember the hyperventilating way he dies.
Okay, semifinals.
We didn't even officially say it, but yeah, Terminator 2 is going to beat Snatch here.
Sorry, it's just the way it is. I'm sorry to all the Snatch fans out there.
It is kind of a lesser known movie, isn't it?
My God. But yeah, no underselling that. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Good piece of British cinema.
Absolutely recommend Snatch. Fantastic movie. Put on subtitles, though.
Oh, yeah, you're going to need it. Even I say that as someone who's from here.
Yeah, they speak English, by the way. Just put on subtitles.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, so hey, with that, that's the eradication of British cinema. There's no.
Oh yeah, I guess that was the last one, wasn't it?
Oh, I feel like a traitor to my own race.
And now we're in the semis.
It's fine. It's Terminator 2.
It took until the semis, at least.
Yeah, true. I really thought Monty Python would get this far, but you know, say la vie.
Yeah.
All right, Jurassic Park, The Matrix.
This one, I feel like, ooh.
You're stuck.
You're
I
stuck.
thought you'd go with Jurassic Park.
Are you saying
I'm
you're
not
stuck?
stuck.
Oh.
I'm not stuck at all. If it's not obvious what I'm already going for, it's The Matrix. Was that an impression? Was that an impression of one of the dinosaurs?
Yeah. That was the
Dinosaurs having a stressful moment.
That was the little one that killed Wayne Knight. No, Jesus Christ.
What do you think?
What do I think? I think I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Jurassic Park.
Why?
Jesus, did you get mad? Why did you fucking say that?
No, it's just because I want to hear your reason.
I don't. Well, I've been tentative about Matrix this whole way up the bracket, to be fair.
And I don't understand why. What is it about the Matrix that doesn't like do it for you? What is it missing?
But that's the thing. There's nothing about the Matrix that doesn't do it for me. I love that fucking movie. It's just every time we give it a matchup, I feel like I like the other movie just a little bit more. And with Jurassic Park, yeah, I think I like it just a little bit more. Here's the thing. You talk about the music in Matrix, which is good.
The music in Matrix. I mean, it's more prevalent in the sequels and everything, but yeah, even like the original, like the gritty cyberpunk like type music that's in the original one. I'm pretty sure. What is the name of that song? I think it's called Brick.
Well, that's what I was kind of gonna say.
Is that song? Like, you know that song? You know the song I'm on about?
Well, yeah, that one. There you go.
What is that song? It's what, Beaten to Death, I think it is.
Bloody
I think
Massacre.
that song is literally called Beaten to Death.
Oh, that's hardcore.
No, what is it? I'm looking it up. I need to find out.
I
Clubbed to Death. That's it. Clubbed to Death by
Jesus
Rob
Christ.
Dugan. It's iconic.
It is. But it's not as iconic as Jurassic Park. And if you try to sell me it is, you're just lying to yourself. It's that's one of the most iconic themes in cinematic history, I think.
Yes.
But that's not indicative of the entire movies. This is really difficult, but I think I'm going Jurassic Park because it's just higher.
Can't keep getting away with this.
What? I have not gotten away with one Matrix matchup. It's still here.
I guess it's gone then. I guess I have to just sit on this hill and die on it.
Well,
I
if
will
there's
be
something,
dead.
if there's something you think can sway me, because I'm not. It's not like I'm like, no, I refuse to let the Matrix advance. Like
I've presented all of my case files. I've got nothing else for you.
I really like Keanu Reeves.
Whoa. That's where this fucking came from. He saw Morpheus leap the building and he was like, whoa.
Whoa.
The bullet time?
Yeah.
The visual effects are fucking great, but they don't compare to... do they, though? Do the visuals of The Matrix compare to the dinosaurs?
I think...
The wire fighting, the kung fu, the code rain that's so iconic, that fucking falling code.
I think the visuals of Jurassic Park aged better. I was rewatching...
I'd have to rewatch them to properly have an opinion on that.
I was rewatching one of the Matrix... I think it was the second one recently, and God almighty, I was cracking up at some of those effects.
Really?
Not to say they're bad, but you can tell when they're from. I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, 1993 versus 1999, there's
They're
been
close.
upgrades.
Yeah. But, like, you looking at especially the wire fighting, I think. You keep talking about the wire fighting as a very strong positive, and it's not bad, but it's not... It's aged the movie a little bit, I think.
I wouldn't know without rewatching it comparatively with Jurassic Park's dinosaurs.
The scene where he stops the bullets is iconic. There's no denying
Well,
that.
he doesn't stop the bullets. Oh yeah, he does, doesn't he?
does
He
stop the
stops it at
bullets.
the end.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking of the scene in Reloaded where he stops like an entire wall of them.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
No, obviously when they're at the final thing, he does do that.
Yeah, in the hallway.
Yeah. Oh, that final fight is great in the hallway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'm leaning Jurassic Park, but again, it's not because The Matrix is bad.
Okay. All right. He got to the semis. I can be happy with that.
There you go. And now
I feel like I'm a villain here for constantly throwing a fit when the one I don't like doesn't advance.
Well, this next matchup is gonna, I think, cause an argument.
Okay, it's The Breakfast Club versus Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It's not Breakfast Club, man. I'm sorry, you're not that guy. You are not that guy, pal. Listen to me. This is a severe change in the tone here. We've reached that point now where we're not backing down on any of these movies.
Yeah, because this is the top. This is the top tier. This is the cream of the crop movies.
Jurassic Park has already made it to the finals. Do you really value Breakfast Club that much that you're going to put it up against dinosaurs?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It has to be Terminator 2.
I don't think it
has to be. It has to be.
I listen, I understand why you're saying that, and I'm not even trying to say you're wrong necessarily.
So then what are you saying?
I'm saying you're super biased.
I'm not biased at all. I'm making an educated decision based on an extensive knowledge of both of these movies.
It's your favorite movie, dog. If Iron Giant was in this
Breakfast Club is your favorite that's in this tournament now.
If Iron Giant
I'm sorry, but I haven't seen Iron Giant in like 20 years.
If Iron Giant was in this tournament, I wouldn't. There's nothing you could say to me, and I acknowledge that. But that's what's happening with you in Terminator 2.
No, you could make a convincing argument, but you've yet to make one, so the floor's yours.
Okay. I think the strengths of Terminator 2 are undeniable. I think the relationship between John and Arnie is the single best thing that movie provides. And I think...
Character growth of Sarah Connor.
That as well, yes.
There's that scene where she goes to kill Miles Dyson and then she realizes that she's like a Terminator and then she freaks out and has a change of heart, like, almost.
Yes. And there's not much wrong with it at all. Is John a little annoying at points? Yeah. That's about as far as I'll go.
He's just a kid. Like, he's just a typical 90s kid. Like, he's reacting appropriately in any of these situations that I think you or I would.
And frankly,
if a giant man made of metal and machinery came up to us and was like, "Get on the bike."
As much as it's well written and justified, Sarah also has moments of like, this is the character is not listening to the dialogue moment.
Entirely justified, and it makes sense.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
I'm reiterating your point.
Yeah. I think none of those can really be said about Breakfast Club.
What can be said about Breakfast Club?
What it aims to do, and I'm going to go back to this point, I don't think...
They always talk about what it aims to do, but...
I don't think that can be matched. The way it nails its goal, I don't think can be matched. Maybe by anything. I don't think Iron Giant could beat it in that category. Like,
no, come on.
It tell me a movie that has a goal and hits it as well as Breakfast Club.
Terminator 2.
I don't agree.
What do you mean you don't agree? What do you mean that Terminator 2 doesn't do everything it was trying to do?
I'm not saying it doesn't do everything it's trying to do. I'm just saying the level at which it does it.
No, it's the perfect science fiction action movie.
I don't think perfect.
It's the perfect sequel.
I don't think perfect.
What doesn't make it perfect?
Where
are the faults? You say that it's not perfect, but you can't come up with any faults.
I feel like you have a gun to my head right now.
Tell me where the faults of Terminator 2 Judgment Day are. Point to me on the doll where you don't like it.
I don't think there's anything I could ever say to you that would convince you of anything.
No, try me.
No, I really don't. I don't think it's possible.
You're going to say that without trying?
What if you had to find a fault in Terminator 2? What is it?
There are times where you can tell the stunt doubles from the actors. It kind of breaks the immersion a little bit.
Okay.
Like that bit where the lorry is chasing them down the quarry and John is on his shitty little bike and Arnie finds a really cool bike. Like, he grabs John and puts him on the bike. You can clearly tell that's not Arnold. You can clearly say that's not him. It's definitely just a random guy they found. But... what else do I not like about this movie?
I feel like when I try to recall Terminator 2, I remember the beginning very distinctly. I remember up until about when they meet up with those people in the desert very distinctly. I know the Dyson scene happens, and I remember the end very distinctly. But there's fog in between those.
So you're basically forgetting all of the character building moments that occur.
Like specific scenes, that area of the film, that part of the like line is foggy.
So from where to where? Sorry.
Basically, when they meet up with those people in the desert.
Yeah.
To the end.
No, okay. So from the desert, Sarah Connor has the dream where she's in the nuclear holocaust and she's a skeleton clinging to the chain link fence.
I'll say up to that scene.
From there, she goes to find Miles Dyson. Miles Dyson's at home with his family working on the computer. Sarah Connor tries to assassinate him. She doesn't succeed because she breaks into the house, holds him at gunpoint, looks at them, panics, and realizes, oh god, what am I doing? What have I become? And then John and Arnie come. I like calling him Arnie.
Yeah, well, I mean, the character doesn't have a name. It's the Terminator.
It's the Terminator. Specifically, it's the T-800 model.
Sure, yes.
But either way. John and Terminator go to the house and they meet up with the Dyson family and they explain, because Miles Dyson is a character who is basically the father of Skynet. He basically created the computer programming so that it got to that point where it became self-aware.
And they're gonna. And they have her goal is to kill him before he creates it, which is again the parallel between her and the Terminator.
Exactly. So you have that really interesting parallel of characters comparatively to how they do it. Even in the acting, like, you can tell that Sarah Connor is, like, being more robotic and efficient like a Terminator would be. It's really interesting to see the parallels, but then she starts crying, trying to calm them down. There's still a human element in there. So then, from that point, they discuss what is going on, because at this point, Miles Dyson is just a man working on a computer. He doesn't know that he's going to create something that will literally destroy the entire world.
Right.
He even says that. And then Sarah rips into him for being like, you men just create things. You don't know what it's like to carry a life inside you. And that's a poignant part of her character as well. Then they decide they have to go into Skynet to basically get the aforementioned brain chip and the hand, which serves as the blueprint for Skynet. So in a weird way, Skynet created itself, right?
See, these are the details I've completely fogged out of my head.
How do you not even remember that whole bit of the Cyberdyne thing where he says, I'll be back, and then he has, John Connor says to him, earlier in the movie, you can't kill people. And then he has to follow that because he does whatever John Connor says. That's what he's programmed to do. So he takes out an entire SWAT team with a minigun. Human casualties? 0. Absolutely none. Just completely makes them back the fuck off. But this is when the T-1000 comes in a helicopter, and then they have to run away from him, and then that's when they get into the malting plant, and that's where the ending happens.
Up until the plant, I legitimately don't remember.
How did you think? That's like a really big crux of a movie. You were even making fun of his death rattle.
Well, like I said, I remember the Dyson scene happens, but
yeah, he sacrifices himself to blow up Skynet. That's what happens.
The details fogged out.
But that's not a fault of the movie. That's a fault of you.
But
you're a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was expecting a funny reaction to that.
But considering I haven't watched these movies in a comparable amount of time, I can't say that about Breakfast Club. I remember every fucking beat.
See, I don't. I know that they're in a school. They dance on the tables. Bender goes into the heating duct to try and get out, but then he forgets his pencil. I don't know.
I think the strengths of... Because you're right, there's amazing character development. I'm not trying to deny anything that Terminator 2 does well. Character development is through the roof in that movie. But I think the strength for me, I am very inclined to character-driven story. And that is...
I'd say the Terminator is character-driven. On the surface it isn't, but when you actually look at it, that entire bit where Sarah goes to kill Miles Dyson, that is character development there.
It's a hybrid. It's plot driven and character driven. Whereas Breakfast Club is pure character. That's all that movie is. And I fucking love that. And
let me look at Wikipedia to see what the plot is, because it would help me here.
Of Breakfast Club?
I'm not saying I dislike Breakfast Club at all. I love it, but it's been a while.
These kids each get sent to detention on a Saturday for various reasons. And they have to write an essay about who they think they are. And
it's a very important movie about identity in adolescence.
Yes. And through being locked in this library together, they learn about not only each other, but themselves. And they learn that everyone is more than the stereotype they might appear to fit into. Each one of them fits a stereotype. And each one of them reveals way more depth than what that stereotype is. And things they don't like about fitting into those stereotypes. And all these different things. The scene, again, when the scene with the long shot, when the camera's just circling them and they're talking about their stories, and then it goes from the athlete who glued a kid's butt cheeks together to Brian making the little elephant that didn't light up, and the whole thing about his locker. Like, those are scenes that are just so fucking powerful. And yes, the ending to Terminator 2 is emotional. I didn't personally cry, but I get why people would. But I just, comparing the two in that regard, Breakfast Club is so fucking strong. I know it's your favorite movie. I understand that. And if we have to coin flip this or divert to Ellie, that's fine. I don't think I can convince you off of Terminator 2. And at this point, I don't even know if I'm trying to. I just want to sing the praises of Breakfast Club, really.
No, I'm fully aware. I absolutely 100% agree with everything that you say. I'm not in any way trying to demean the Breakfast Club. But this is what I'm saying. In the context of a tournament, where the idea is that is one of these movies the best, Terminator 2 is lauded as being one of the best sequels, one of the best action films, one of the best science fiction films. You just hear the Breakfast Club is like one of the best teen movies, but it's not as lauded, it's not as talked about.
I just want to do a test. This is not going to determine anything. I want to look up best
I don't like this
movie. I'm just putting best movie into Google, and I want to see which one comes up first.
That's what? Why?
I
Why
just
would you do
want
this?
to take a test. I just want to test it.
Watch, like, the best movie of all time is obviously going to be, like, Godfather or, like, Shawshank or Return of a Jedi or whatever the hell.
Okay, Stacker.com 100 best movies of all time.
It's always the same movie at number one.
So I want to scroll all the way to the bottom to see number one, and then we'll go backwards from there.
All right.
Godfather's number one, yes. 12 Angry Men, number two. I won't say every single one. Let's just see
Wait,
which
12
one.
Angry Men, really? Was that the remake or the original?
The original.
Because that was originally going to be in this tournament, wasn't it?
Yes, but
We couldn't decide which one.
I didn't see the original, and you didn't see the remake. So
yeah, so we can't really put it in based on that. 12 Angry Men is a great movie.
yes, either one.
Similar to The Breakfast Club in that it's just one setting.
Yes, and I also love that movie to death.
Yeah.
For the same reason, really. I love the bottle episode concept. Wizard of Oz came up before either of them. WALL-E.
Wait, Wizard of Oz?
WALL-E came up before either of them.
WALL-E is that's
Toy
going to be
Story?
a doozy in the Disney one.
Yeah. Saving Private Ryan. Goodfellas. You haven't seen Taxi Driver, have you?
You talking to me?
Yeah, that is the movie.
No.
I saw it for a class. I had never seen it before, but I was surprised.
It's also your life.
Sure, we'll say that.
I'm walking here.
But yeah, so far neither of them have come up yet, and I'm at number 50 now.
What on earth?
Yeah. Because I do expect both of them to be on here somewhere. Because they're in that conversation, no matter what anybody says.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption, which you haven't seen, which I would have
Posted in fear of a fucking...
La La Land is in this over either of them? I like La La Land, but really?
Didn't it, it almost won an Oscar, but they announced it wrong, right?
Yeah, that was the
Was
one
actually
where that
Moonlight?
happened. Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Back to
the Okay, alright, everyone go home. We fucked up. We already eliminated Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Has Jurassic Park come up yet?
Not yet.
What on earth is going on?
This is a weird list. I'm at number 90.
Who wrote this?
Stacker.com.
Mr.com.
I'll see when I get to the top. I'm at 95. I don't know if either of these are going to be in this,
Are
actually.
you serious?
Neither of them were in this list.
Go to Empire or something. Go to like a different publication because Cracked clearly has no integrity.
Jacob Osborne wrote that list, and I gotta say, Jacob, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
You know what? Fuck you, Jacob Osborne.
Let's see. What was the
Not
movie?
listening to this.
What was the list you said?
Go to Empire. Empire is like a film company magazine. So
Empire.
failing that, Sight and Sound I think is another good publication.
100 Greatest Movies on Empire.com. All right. Fucking...
We might have even done this in the movie episode.
Oh wait, this one goes. Oh no. I want to scroll to the bottom, go to number 1 first, and then go back up. This one's longer. It takes a lot more scrolling.
My finger, it hurts.
Jesus, this takes a lot more scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Okay, Back to the Future was number 11. I saw that.
Did we... Hang on.
Okay, Godfather's number 1 again.
I told you, it's always Godfather, it's always Empire Strikes Back, it's always the same movies.
Literally, Empire Strikes Back was number 2.
See what I mean? It's predictable.
Pulp Fiction.
Predictable!
Pulp Fiction number 5.
Okay, we messed up. We got the bad ending.
Star
somehow.
Wars number 9. Fellowship number 10.
On. Come on,
Back
man.
to the Future 11. All right, I won't say everything. Ooh, I haven't seen Alien. That's a good
Neither have I.
call out. Fight Club.
Have you seen Predator?
Yes, I did see Predator.
Fuck's sake, why didn't we include Predator?
Oh, you've seen it? I didn't know you've seen it.
Yes, I love Predator.
Matrix. Look at that.
Uh-huh, see?
Okay, so the first one to come up on the list was Terminator 2.
Right. But read what it says. Read what it says, Jamie.
Let's see. What does it say?
Because I'm sure Breakfast Club has to be in this list.
Making Arnie's T800 a protector rather than killer for part 2 could have been a shark jump moment for the Terminator series, but we're talking about James Cameron here, so it paid off, especially as this Terminator was just as much a student in human behavior with John Connor, his teacher, as Guardian, with some darkly comical results. He'll live. Is it really better than the original? In terms of scale and sheer balls-out action spectacle, yes.
Yes.
That's what it says. So let me see if Breakfast Club's on
Just
here.
Control F breakfast.
Well, I'm on my phone. So just keep in mind Terminator 2 is number 25. I want to see what the difference in placement is.
If it's even on this list, because it wasn't.
Guardians of the
ranked for whatever
Galaxy is
reason.
on here.
Interesting.
Number like 34.
Wow. Okay. I don't even think that's the best MCU movie.
No, but I do love it to death.
Oh, so do I.
Let's see. Still going. Almost at 50 here. Citizen Kane at 45. You have not seen Citizen Kane.
Rosebud was the sled.
Honestly, that reveal is underwhelming.
I don't know what it means. I don't know what the context is.
There's not much to it, dog.
And whenever I think of Citizen Kane, I just think of the joke from The Simpsons.
What's the joke from The Simpsons?
They're in like a movie museum and they're like, hey, there's the Kane from Citizen Kane.
That is good.
It's just a picture of a cane in a fucking framed perspex.
Hot Fuzz.
Hot fuzz for the greater good.
I'm
For the
at
greater good.
I'm at 77 now. Still no,
Seriously.
yeah.
I mean, Breakfast Club is like one of the best teenage-centered movies. Very coming of age.
I don't know that it has to... Oh, Rocky. We forgot about Rocky. I don't know that it has to
Rocky?
be categorized that specifically to just call it like one
Well, that's the genre, isn't it? It's a teenage coming-of-age movie. That's what it is. That's what John Hughes basically was his bread and butter.
I mean, yes, you're right, but...
Like with Ferris Bueller and 16 Candles and Chariots of Fire. No, not Chariots of Fire. St. Elmo's Fire.
Breakfast Club was not on this list.
What do you think about that?
I think that's a shame. I think it's just straight up one of the best movies. Like...
I'm not disagreeing, but maybe you just have to take this as a sign of fate from the universe. Because Ellie has also said Terminator.
Okay. I don't think it's the best movie ever, but it looks like that's where we're heading because now the finals are Jurassic Park and Terminator 2.
Jurassic Park, Terminator 2.
I don't feel as strongly about Jurassic Park as I did about Breakfast Club. I don't really have anything to go against.
Oh, we can't end this on a wet fart.
I don't think
No,
there's...
okay, you know what? All right. You know what? I'm going to call an audible here. I'm going to say, how about for the final, for the best movie ever made, we make it a triple threat?
Whoa.
Jurassic Park, Terminator 2, or Breakfast Club?
No. We have
Come on.
We have a bracket format that we've made, and we have to stick to it. Terminator 2 beat Breakfast
say
Club.
Terminator 2 advances, it beats Jurassic Park, Terminator 2 is the best movie of all time, right? So in an alternate universe, in the Steel Ball Run episode, Breakfast Club beats Terminator 2, is going up against Jurassic Park.
Oh, so we're doing, like, runner-up?
Well, what happens? But out of these two movies, Terminator 2 and Breakfast Club, are either of those going to beat Jurassic Park?
I would have gone Breakfast Club over Jurassic Park.
I would have gone Terminator over Breakfast Club. But no, fucking
You did
Terminator over... Shut up. Terminator over Jurassic Park. In terms of Breakfast Club versus Jurassic Park, I think I would have gone for Jurassic Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, based on what?
Dinosaurs.
Yeah! Dinosaurs!
We're falling apart here. We don't know what to do. We're in a state of chaos right now. Thing is, I don't want to force your hand like this. I want this to be a co-op decision.
Well, here's what I was going to say, is that in the matchup of Terminator 2 versus Jurassic Park, like, if I'm just looking at this as an individual matchup, I don't think there's a realm in which I pick Jurassic Park.
So really, the true finals are Terminator 2 versus Breakfast Club.
That had more debate to it than Terminator 2 versus Jurassic Park, yeah.
So what do you think?
About what?
What's the best movie ever made?
According to how our decisions have landed, Terminator 2.
There you go. That's it. We've come to a decision.
The movie police in the background don't agree. They're coming to kill us.
Oh God, quickly, do the plugs.
We've committed a terrible crime.
Congratulations to all of the people that made all of these movies. Well done, you made some real fucking bangers, alright? There are some movies that we completely forgot to put in, as we've learned. Because, I don't know, memory fades us, and we weren't going to come up with another 20-odd movies when we already had 39, okay? That could have been even more of an ugly situation if we had 64 fucking movies to go through.
Yeah, if we had done a 64 movie tournament, it would have been a fucking nightmare. And we would have had some, I think the matchups would have been a lot worse.
Yeah, we probably would have got a lot more heated.
Yeah.
I'm glad we avoided the absolute shambles that was the television tournament with The Simpsons.
Yeah, there was no, I mean, the closest we got was me trying to be like, Terminator 2 is not the best, but it won anyway, so like, or The Matrix.
Terminator 2, directed by James Cameron, who has also directed Titanic, #1 highest grossing movie at some point, Avatar, highest grossing movie, like twice in history.
Yeah.
So his own catalog speaks for itself, and I think that maybe, just out of all of cinema, if we had watched The Godfather, I think we might have picked that based on what everyone else is saying, but...
I feel like when I do eventually watch Godfather, I'm gonna be underwhelmed.
Yeah, there's no way you won't be.
Because now it is talked about like it is like watching gold.
Like the apex of cinema, nothing will ever compare to it ever.
It's at the top of every fucking list.
But you see, this is the weird thing, is that, I like to take Space Jam as an example.
Why wasn't that on this bracket?
Because I hate Space Jam.
I think Space Jam is a terrible movie that I love to watch.
This is the thing, alright? There's a distinct quality. Like, there's a distinct difference between the quality of a movie and how much you enjoy a movie.
Right.
Because a movie could be the drizzling shits, objectively. Like, The Room. Why wasn't that in the movie? In the movie tournament, for fuck's sake? See what I mean? There's so many that we just forgot.
Yeah.
But would The Room beat Terminator 2? Nah.
No.
Nah.
It's a fun movie to watch, but it's terrible.
Even terrible movies get groundswell. Birdemic, Man off the Hands of Fate. Like, all of these movies are just fun to watch because they're bad.
Yeah.
Even if a movie's great, it's fun to watch. Sometimes people get really bored. Like, I'm not going to watch Ben-Hur. Just because people think it's amazing because it was made in the 50s and it's, like, probably really racist now.
Just because, like, there's no facts behind that. Just it probably is racist.
Most movies in the 50s are racist. You ever see Lawrence of Arabia?
No.
I rest my case.
That means it's racist.
The point I'm trying to make is that the landscape of cinema is so incredibly diverse, and we're touching on, like, maybe 2% of it.
Yeah.
In its entirety. We've even said we're going to have 2 more tournaments after this. One for Disney animated, because I got flack from the Resident Sim for being like, oh, we're not including Disney movies, but anyway, here's Dead Man's Chest. Like,
oh yeah, I thought about that too.
It's Disney animated. It's Pixar animated. There's a distinct
when you say
culture.
Disney, we all know what we're talking about.
Exactly. We're talking about Bambi, all right?
Yeah, that's the one.
We're not talking about Jack Sparrow, okay?
Are we going to include Fantasia in that?
Why wouldn't we?
Because it's not, like, a narrative.
It's still a movie.
I guess.
Fucking, we included Jackass in this tournament.
That's true.
What are you talking about?
That's true. I forgot we did that.
Movies are so incredibly rich and incredibly diverse that we need to have 2 more tournaments after this one to fit some niche categories, okay? My point is that no matter what we say, everything that we've said about these movies, you should probably go and watch them. They are at least on a short list of movies that people should just see at some point.
Everything we put into this bracket is, like, definitive we love these movies.
In a way, they're all the best movie.
The real best movie was the friends we made along the way.
Exactly, you're my friend.
Yes, even though sometimes we want to kill each other.
No, you're my friend, that's it.
That is true.
Nothing else. No additional factors, no sequels, no prequels.
Just the original
self-contained friendship. And that's what we've learned along the way. Terminator 2.
Fantastic movie.
Dun, dun, dun.
I do want to say, like, I know I was voting against it in the last couple of rounds, but, like, it was one of the coolest movie watching experiences I ever fucking had in my life. And that's, like, there's
nothing will ever replicate it ever again, I don't think.
Yeah. So with that...
I'm sorry, Matt Damon with the Bourne Ultimatum, we're out of time.
So with that, if you want to send us an email about why you think Shrek was the best movie of all time, you can do that via Bitter Chatter.
That's the one movie that I'm sad that it went up against Terminator, because I'm like, oh, for God's sakes.
It is really good.
Yes.
You can send that email to bitterchatterpodcast@gmail.com. We also have socials for the Bitter Chatter brand that you can follow, both at BitterChatPod. You can find those on Twitter and Instagram. We also have merch. Brooks, tell them.
You get a sticker and a t-shirt with a logo on it. You can go to redbubble.com/people/bitterchatpod. I don't know where the money goes. Well, who cares?
Into a dark hole.
Into the bitter chatter hole.
That's the one.
All 20 pence that we make from it.
To go with our $8 of Anchor revenue.
If you feel like repping the brand, letting people know what this is,
tell your friends. Arm yourselves with knowledge.
Get a gun.
What?
You said arm yourself.
With knowledge.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Tell your friends, arm yourself. I'm like, huh? What?
Because Shrek's coming and he's mad.
He's mad. Oh, I can hear Smash Mouth in the background.
Wait, we have individual socials we have to plug. What are yours?
I am Strayborn on Twitter and on TikTok. I am posting random thoughts and feelings. Tell me if you like me. Do you like me? I like me. Let me know on Twitter.
There you go. I'm at @thatguy_Carmine on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You know the one that's active. Go follow me. And then, well, if you're listening to this, you probably already do. Tell the other people that do to come over here.
Come over here. It's nice. The water's fine.
Maria, get over here!
Get over here!
And with that, Shrek's knocking on my door, so it looks like this is the end for me. Oh, God. Listen, it's not personal.
What are you doing in my swamp?
Well, you're in my house.
I like that boulder.
No, put the boulder down, Shrek.
That is a nice boulder.
I thought that was Donkey's line.
Anakin Skywalker. You must pod race.
Get out of my swamp, you must.
I know why you cry.
What is that?
It sound right, boy.